This video is going to focus on running manual checks for any employee that was either missed in a payroll or needed additional hours or possibly is being laid off, so we need a net figure as soon as possible. So the first thing we're going to do is go into our payroll screen. If it brings you into the company, you can just double click on your company and the tabs across the top will just click payroll. So rather than using the quick payroll button how we typically do, under the controls over to the right, we're going to click create payroll. It's going to pull in our next available check date, and we'll just go ahead and we'll hit our post changes or the green check at the top. This is now going to bring us into our batch screen. So in this screen, we're going to start by clicking create batch. If you'd like to change the pay period, you can click right in and you can change to whatever pay period you need. And then we're going to come over to the batch creation options and click select EEs from list. And also over here under create checks, we're going to choose manual. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll click our post changes. A little box is going to pop up asking if we want to auto create the checks. We're going to hit yes. It's going to ask us if we want the balance of the scheduled EDs, so we're going to hit yes. And then we can choose the employee that we need to set the manual for. If you're doing multiple employees, you can just click and then hold in control and you can click the other employee that you'd like to choose. That way you can highlight more than one at a time. Then we'll just hit OK. The system's going to go ahead and create that manual check in the batch for us. So now we have our batch 521. I'm just going to go up to the top to the quick entry tab, and you'll see now that the check type, it says M for manual. Typically it would be an R for regular. So now we're going to go ahead and double click on the employee to open up their check lines. Now if you've ever been in the check lines before, typically you would see any of these standard deductions that are set up, and there would be the locks. So because this is a manual, we will have to manually do a lot of the process. So if we just owe the employee hours, we can go ahead and we'll just use our EO2 for the hours and type in however many hours it is that's owed, and then we'll type in the pay rate. So as you notice, as I tabbed through, the amount did not populate. So you can go ahead and just right click in the amount column, and then we're going to click the first option, calculate check line, and that'll go ahead and that'll produce the gross amount for you. Obviously, you can have as many different lines as you need. So let's just say there was also some other sort of payment. Let's see what else we can do. Let's just say we owed some overtime. So just put in some hours there. And actually, you don't have to always pull in the pay rate. That will also happen when you click the calculate check line, as you see right there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll commit at the top. So if this was all that we wanted to be paid out, then we're done with our gross part. So just in case they have any deductions, we want to go into the General tab, and then right under here under Actions, we're going to click Refresh Scheduled EDs, and we'll just hit Yes to the pop-up box. If there is anything that's pulled in, you'll see that the green icon for the commit changes will appear. This test person does not have any deductions, so nothing additionally pulled in. So from here, we can come down to the bottom, and we're going to click Recalculate Check. We'll give the system just a second to go ahead and process all the tax liabilities and the breakdown for the check. Then it's going to bring us into the Preview tab right here up at the top, and it's going to show us the snippet that typically your specialist will forward to you, or if you're doing this yourself, obviously you could take a screenshot or print just that page out. That way you can give this information to the employee with the manual check that you'll cut on your end. So you'll see over here on the earnings side, it's showing us what we paid. So there's 2 overtime hours for a gross of $45, 32 regular hours for a gross of $480, totaling it at a $525 gross. Then over here on our deduction side, we see the Social Security amount, and then based off the $525, our Medicare, Fed, state, and our unemployment taxes. It's just going to give us a total for our taxes right here. And finally, it's going to give us that net amount of $411.60. Our last step is just going to be to plug the taxes down at the bottom. It's going to bring you into the manual tax screen, and basically it's just going to copy over all those different taxes we saw on the previous screen. And then we'll go ahead and we'll commit. So just again with a review, we're going to start in the payroll. payroll. We'll click our Create Payroll button. And then we're going to hit our green check. It's going to bring us into our Batch tab from there. We'll go ahead and we'll click Create Batch. Then select EE from List. Then choose Manual. Hit our green check. We'll have the box that pops up asking if we want to auto-populate, and we'll hit Yes. And if we want the balance of the scheduled EDs, we'll hit Yes. Then finally we'll choose the employee that we'd like to pay the manual for. Then we'll come into our quick entry. We'll see our manual type, our employee. We'll double click. And obviously if you're not familiar with the codes, you can just click the drop down and you can choose whichever ones that you need, or you can type them in if you are familiar. If you need another line, you can either just hit enter through and you'll see that a blank line is created, or if you're on this box now, you can just hit your down arrow and that'll do the same for you to add additional wages. If you have any additional questions with this, please feel free to reach out to your specialist. They'd be more than happy to help you.